Welcome back to America in Black. I'm CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion. The race for the White House is coming into focus after Super Tuesday. The country appears to be headed toward a rematch between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. Just like in 2020, Black voters will play a critical role in the outcome of this election. More than 34 million African Americans are projected to be eligible to vote this year, and one of the largest blocks of Black voters is in Georgia. We traveled to the battleground state to hear what people are thinking and feeling about the state of the presidential race in 2024. Johnny Daniel has been shaping up heads for more than a decade at Supreme's Barbershop in the heart of Henry County, Georgia.
It was mostly Republican, and then I think when Obama came in, it started to shift.
Which swung by more than 16 points for President Biden in 2020.
I want to thank you, the people of Georgia.
And helped Democrats flip the peach state for the first time in nearly 30 years. Why did you vote for President Biden in the last
Because
election?
of who he ran with, and he was in the White House for the 8 previous years. I felt like he had the experience, but definitively right now, I couldn't tell you that if they open the polls tomorrow, I'm voting for Joe Biden.
So what changed?
Life, the inflation, and the things that we're going through right now. I want the right person so that I'm not paying $8 for eggs, $15 for gas.
Even though things may be improving economically, you feel there's a disconnect?
Yeah, there is a disconnect. The way these last 3 or 4 years have been, this is the worst it's ever been in my life. I never would have even considered thinking about voting for Donald Trump. But living in America these last 4, it's a consideration.
A consideration that's reflected in some polls. While 77% of likely Black voters say they intend to support Mr. Biden, former President Trump leads Biden in several battleground states, including Georgia, where he lost by roughly 12,000 votes and faces charges of election interference.
That's why the Black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against.
The politics are an ongoing debate between Azad Ahmadi, member of the Georgia Black Republicans, and his girlfriend Alexandra, a registered Democrat, who at times sit on opposite sides of the aisle. So even though you have political differences, it's not a deal breaker?
No, it's not a deal breaker.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
So in 2008 and 2012, you voted for?
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama.
2016?
I voted for Donald Trump.
Hillary Clinton.
2020?
Donald Trump.
Biden.
And who will you vote for in 2024?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
You may vote for the former president.
I may.
Why do you say that?
My views on certain things have changed. I am very much so riding the fence.
What are you struggling with?
Being in a pattern of doing the same thing that I've been doing, because it's kind of like second nature. Like when you go in a poll, you hit Democrat. Something has to happen. I mean, it's just so expensive to survive. And we're planning on having kids. I don't want to live in a stressful environment trying to rub 2 pennies together to try to make it either.
When did you make that decision to check a different box?
Donald Trump's first term. I'm saying first term because I'm pretty sure he'll be in there for a second term here soon. But in either case, post-Obama, I decided that the party just wasn't suitable to the goals that I had.
How did you come to that conclusion? Because at the end of the day, former President Obama was the first African-American president in history.
That's just
true.
true.
I mean, as a Black man, I would assume that meant something.
Absolutely. You know, I attended the inauguration on his first term. I grew up outside of Washington, D.C. in the 80s and 90s, came through the system as an institutional Democrat, went through a lot of the experiences that young Black men go through, good and bad. Ended up leaving that environment, grew up, started looking at the world through a new lens.
Black men are a coveted demographic for both parties. President Biden received 91% of the Black vote in 2020. Former President Trump only got 8%, but Black men supported him at 3 times the rate of Black women.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are investing a record $7 billion into HBCUs.
The Biden and Trump campaigns are also courting young voters who could be key, something that is not lost on these students at historically Black Clark Atlanta University. What is the most important issue to you in this election? Austin Euler is a Democrat.
I think the biggest thing is start looking more in-house on our issues rather than always trying to be the world's savior.
Ajinkaya Sumas is an independent.
Protecting my rights as a Black woman, my right to abortion, I don't think any man should have any say in what I choose to do with my body.
And Jacob Jones is a Republican.
If we can just take steps towards clearing our debt, I feel like it'll be a better nation, a better country.
How are you feeling about this election?
I don't know if you can see me sweating right now. It just feels like it's the same as last time, and you're really basically forced to vote between two older people.
You used the word forced.
Yeah, it does feel kind of forced. If you go back to the Trump era, there's always going to be something in the news. If you want to stick with the Biden era, you have to just deal with the fact that a lot of people already have a viewpoint on him. All the good things he's done, it's hard to change someone's mind.
As a younger voter, I don't want somebody who's many generations ahead of me, Biden being one of the oldest presidents, and he's fairly older. Same with Trump.
I think of President Biden, he kind of sold a dream that he couldn't accomplish. His famous quote was that for African American, you weren't Black if you didn't vote for Joe Biden.
What do you think of former President Trump?
I think President Trump was a bad people's person, but a great leader. He put our economy in a booming state. He provided a permanent funding for all HBCUs.
This is also the same president who, when 5 minority young boys were arrested in New York for a crime they didn't even commit, said that we need to bring back the death penalty. So from a moral perspective, I can't agree or stand behind somebody when we have COVID-19 going around and you're calling it the Chinese flu.
How many of you think that there should be a third-party ticket? All of you. Do you want to vote in this election?
Oh, yes, I'm still going to vote.
So you're not going to sit it out?
No, I'd never do that.
I feel like sitting out and not voting is basically staying quiet and mute. Our vote is our voice. Sitting out is just basically you're not doing a justice to yourself.
To help close any potential enthusiasm gaps, Black churches are taking the lead. Aisha Brooks Johnson and Cassandra Morrow head the Black Church Collective, an organization that is also prioritizing voter education.
And you want to make sure you watch to say ballot accepted before you walk off.
After Georgia and several other states enacted new voting restrictions and redistricting maps.
Just like the old African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village for every vote to count.
I think the Black church should always be a place where it's safe, where you don't have to be embarrassed to say what you don't know.
We often hear that Black women are the backbone, particularly of the Democratic Party. How do you perceive that?
I would say, you know, as Black women, we're the backbone of almost everything.
I mean, what don't we carry?
Exactly,
I mean, seriously,
exactly.
It's because of the burdens we carry, the weight we carry, and we're seeing it through multiple lenses of oppression. Let's get these voices out here.
That's right.
For grassroots groups like Black Voters Matter, the outreach has been ongoing, kicking off the year in South Carolina for the first-in-the-nation primary, a critical test of Black support.
Are y'all excited about going to vote?
Yes.
Yeah.
Black people are in it. Like, we're in it to win it.
Latasha Brown is co-founder of the organization.
When I look at Black South Carolinians, they actually got more of a vote share, particularly in Democratic primary, than their white counterparts, that we showed up, even though all of the news was saying that we wouldn't show up, right?
Do you feel Black voters are underestimated?
Oh, absolutely. You can't continue to take black voters for granted and think that all you have to do is emotionally rouse us and then in some way that's going to lead to a victory. We're beyond that. We want what everybody else wants. We want policies that are going to actually support and lift up our communities.